All right, let's get right into it. Whether you've been driving for decades or you're new behind the wheel, there's one situation we all kind of hope never happens, but one we should definitely be ready for: needing a tow. Today, we're going to break it all down: everything from the costs and your rights to some of the hidden dangers of the job you've probably never even thought about. So just picture it for a second. You're driving along, minding your own business. Maybe you're on a busy highway, and then it happens. You hear a weird noise, there's a shudder, and your car just dies. The engine won't even turn over. You're completely stuck. And that feeling of helplessness, it can set in really, really fast. Your mind just starts racing, right? Who do I even call? How much is this going to set me back? Am I safe here on the side of the road? Well, that's what this is all about: answering those questions and giving you a solid game plan. Okay, so let's get straight to the thing that's probably on your mind first: the money. Honestly, understanding the costs is the first step to feeling like you're actually in control of the situation. So this gives us a really good baseline. For a pretty standard car, maybe a dead battery or a flat tire, something simple. And over a short distance, say 10 to 15 kilometers, you're probably looking at a cost somewhere in this ballpark. But, and this is a big but, this is really just the starting point. And this table just shows you how fast that price can change. I mean, if you break down at 2 in the morning, well, that's an after-hours tow, and the price just jumps. Driving a low sports car that needs a special tilt tray truck? Yep, the cost goes up again. And you can see right there, accident towing, that's in a whole different league. It often starts at $350 and just goes up from there. So how do they even come up with these numbers? Well, it's basically a mix of all these things. Most companies will charge a base hookup fee and then a rate for every kilometer they travel. The type of car you drive matters too, because a big ol' 4WD needs a much beefier truck than a little sedan. And where you are is huge. Being stuck on a busy highway is way more complicated and takes more time than being on a quiet street, and that's going to show up on the bill. So look, here is the most important takeaway. Before you agree to anything, you have to ask this exact question. This is how you avoid those nasty little surprises. Things like extra hookup fees, winching fees if your car is in a ditch, or even storage fees if they have to take it to their yard overnight. A good, reputable company will be totally upfront about the final cost. All right, so you've got a handle on the cost. Now, who do you actually call? This is super important because you need to know what kind of service you need to get the right help for your specific problem. There's a massive difference between being stranded on the highway and, say, needing to move a project car that doesn't run out of your garage. Emergency services, they're all about speed and being available 24/7. Scheduled transport, on the other hand, is about logistics, just moving a vehicle from point A to point B on a day you've planned. You got to make sure you're calling the right one for the job. When you're stressed out on the side of the road, trust me, this little checklist is your best friend. A quick scan of recent Google reviews can tell you almost everything you need to know about a company. And picking a local operator, it's not just about getting there faster. They know the area, and their prices are often way more competitive. Just remember, you're the customer here. You've got every right to ask these questions. Okay, we need to shift gears and talk about a really specific and serious situation: a car accident. This is where things get super regulated, and honestly, for a very good reason. These rules exist to protect you when you're feeling your most vulnerable. This is such a simple but absolutely critical piece of information. If you're in an accident in Victoria, just look at the number plate. An official accredited accident tow truck will have tow or HTT on it. If it doesn't have one of those, it is not legally supposed to be there, period. And this quote right here, this gets to the heart of your power in this situation. Nothing happens to your car without your signature. That authority to tow is a legal document, and it's the moment you officially give your consent. Do not let anyone rush you or pressure you into signing it. Let's just run through this because it's so important. First off, you choose the destination, not the tow truck driver. They can't just take it to their mate's workshop. In a lot of the big metro areas, the fees are actually fixed by law to stop people from getting ripped off. And this is critical. It is illegal for them to pressure you into using a specific mechanic. You have every right to just take a breath and call your insurance company or family member for advice. So far, pretty much everything we've talked about has been from the driver's point of view. But now I want to completely flip the script. I want to show you what it's like for the person who actually shows up to help you. Their job is so much more dangerous than most of us could ever imagine. Okay, so in Australia, any job that's considered high risk needs a special document called a SWMS, a Safe Work Method Statement. It's basically a super detailed plan that identifies every single thing that could go wrong and how to control for it. The very fact that towing requires one of these tells you everything you need to know about how serious the risks are. This is one of the biggest dangers they face. When a car that weighs a couple of tons is being winched up onto a tilted, slippery metal tray, well, the forces involved are just enormous. If one thing isn't secured perfectly or a handbrake fails, that vehicle can roll straight back off right into the path of the operator who is standing right there at the controls. That whole tilt tray mechanism, it's all moved by a super high-pressure hydraulic system. If there's a sudden failure, like a hose just bursts, the entire tray, with a car sitting on it, can just drop with absolutely no warning. It's a catastrophic mechanical failure with, devastating consequences for anyone standing nearby. And then there's the danger they face on every single job. They are focused on this really complex task, often at night or in pouring rain, just a few feet away from cars and trucks flying past them at 80, 90, even 100 kilometers an hour. It is an unbelievably vulnerable place to be. So I'll just leave you with this question. After seeing the costs, the rules, and the incredible risks these operators take to clear our roads and help us when we're stranded, what will you see? It's not just a truck and a broken-down car anymore, is it? It's a high-stakes, high-skill operation happening right there on the edge of the road. It's really something to think about.